What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gold Boys Odd Shopper combination show here. I'm Eric Lindquist. You can follow me at Eric Lindquist over on X. We normally would be joined by Eytan Shander, but I think he's probably picking up his kids from school or burying a body out in the middle of Pennsylvania, rural Pennsylvania somewhere. So it's myself, it's Lord BLT, my guy Brad Thomas over on the right. How you doing, my dude?
I'm doing pretty good, I'm, like, slowly waiting for the weekend so I can just watch college football all weekend.
Oh,
Like, it's so funny because I totally forgot that there is an NFL game today, right? Like,
mhm.
I just kinda glazed past that.
So, I mean, this is really good for me. So, I grew up a Duke basketball fan. Obviously, they had a
Yeah.
close win in college basketball against Auburn yesterday. I went to Iowa State. I was a student athlete there. For the people
Oh,
who
hell
don't
yeah.
know, played some golf there once upon a time. You don't have to say what sport when you're introducing yourself to other people. Oh yeah, I was a student athlete at Iowa State. Not basketball, not football, but golf. We end up winning a nice one against Marquette in pretty handily fashion. And then
Yeah.
from a football perspective, we were 2.5 point dogs, but we're better than a 45% chance of making the playoff here going up against Arizona State in
Yep.
Dallas. If I didn't have a Christmas party on Friday night, I looked at tickets, I looked at flying out, but yeah, we're hosting a huge Christmas party with like 100 people here tomorrow night. So don't think my wife's going to let me out of that one to go watch college football with my college buddies, but hopefully we can make it to this college football playoff. Hopefully they can play in Arizona because that would be the stone cold nuts with my folks living out there. But Brad, please tell me my Iowa State Cyclones are going to get it done on Saturday.
I actually have Iowa State plus 2.5. Like, you this is probably the best you guys could have asked for with Tyson being out for Arizona State.
Mhm.
He's not just their guy. He is the absolute guy. He has like over 81 catches on the season. The next guy has 50 less. And it's so much so like when you think about what their game plan is going to be, Arizona State's just going to run the ball with Scatterboot every single play.
Yep.
Well, Iowa State, their run defense is not bad, right? It's not like this is a bad run defense, and it makes life a lot easier when you know what's going to happen. I'm really excited for that game. I think that's just one of those situations where you're like, we got a good break. Now we have to take advantage of it.
Yeah, a lot of sharp places that also value Arizona State's defense pretty highly. But right now, Breck's playing at a high level. I feel good about what we got going here. I'm excited for the game. I'm going to be very, very hungover with a breakfast burrito, enjoying that at 9 a.m. Pacific. Can't wait for it. But we are going to recap quick what happened on Monday. It was a really good day for me. It could have been way, way better if I had followed through on that ladder to the moon. It would have been like 24-1 for 200 plus yards or something. That would have been a terrible number to fire, but I definitely like the ladder at 100, 125. I cut it off at 90, which what am I even doing, Brad? Why do I do this to myself? Pat Sertan never goes to the slot. He ends up setting the world on fire. Schroeder covered that 10.5, despite the fact that the Brooklyn Nets got blown out. And then I look over at Shander here. They covered the 5.5. We got that one together. Sutton, anytime touchdown, didn't come to fruition. Didn't see the Air Force one. Did Bo Nix get out and run a little bit? I know Vele, you got that
No,
one right for sure.
Bonix
Oh,
didn't run until the end of the game, and I was so mad because he had so many running lanes. I was like, "Just take it, just take it, just take it."
unbelievable game. That was a really entertaining Monday game. Was able to catch the very tail end of that as my family forced me to go to Wicked. I got to go to Wicked on Monday. Great little flick for the people at home who are going to check that out. It is really really good. But Carson Beck, Georgia. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming our way on Saturday. Yeah, they're not going to be playing, are they? Are they playing Saturday?
Clemson?
No, Carson Beck and Georgia.
Yep, yep.
They are? Okay. I was just pulling everything up here. Penn State, Oregon, I know being the other biggie. And yeah, Georgia's Texas. Duh. There we go. Number 5, number 2. Both of them are probably secure no matter what happens. I'm very excited though for this bowl championship. Finally, 12 teams. We're going to have some fun. But let's have some fun today in the betting streets. Hit that like button as we begin our boarding walk. Brad, take it away.
Yeah, so, going to my first play here, and I have to go with Jordan Love over 33.5 passing yards. I'm passing yards, right? Could you imagine? 33 and
Passing.
a half passing attempts. I didn't shop this line, right? I'm a bad, bad guy. I'm gonna shop it in 30 seconds on the odd shopper tools because I know for sure you could probably get a better line. Yep, 32.5. That and why I said that I wanted to shop it was because 33 is a really perfect number, a key number to pass. But going against Detroit, last time they played, he had 39 pass attempts in that game. Jacobs only running about 13. What's interesting about this is this game's indoors. Generally, indoors, fast tracks games go faster, higher scoring script, more passing yards. Detroit owns. They have their number one team in rush D success and rush EPA, which is really nice because it's not like Josh Jacobs didn't go over last game, right? Like you could still go over, but they're not going to just be hammering him like 30 carries in the game. I think this is a good opportunity for Jordan Love. I the only thing that didn't make me absolutely smash this is I think that Green Bay's pretty live in this game.
Yep.
And if it becomes one of those situations where Green Bay goes into a run script late, you could get burned. And I genuinely was going to bet Green Bay plus 3.5, or was it 4.5? The number moved down. So it's just a small 1 unit play for me. Just this speculation that I think we're going to see points. I think we're going to see some back and forth action. Both teams aren't going to hold the ball a ton. It really helps against teams like Detroit too, where Detroit get down the field so fast, right? Like that's just more possessions, more opportunities for Jordan Love to throw the ball.
I see this a little bit. So it's strange because I feel like half of what you said I'm completely there for. The other half I kind of want to talk through together because, obviously that makes for good discussion, trying to figure out what we're looking at. I'm nervous about the Lions' offensive line on their side of things with Decker out. The left side looks a little bit brutal at this point in time. I mean, the right side, maybe I kind of joked around. I was like, power right, power right. And you just do that over and over with David Montgomery until he's blue in the face. But there's no doubt whatsoever that the Lions have one of the best off. I mean, they have the best offensive line when perfectly healthy, but they're going to have to utilize Dan Skipper. And I do think that there's worlds where they take Penne and they move him over to the left side or move things around. It just feels like it's going to be very patchwork
Yep.
on their side of things. It's not like you've got some insane pass rush here from the Green Bay side of things, but you have seen them pretty efficient against the run. I'm very curious to see how this runs out. I'm so with you with Green Bay having being a very live dog here, purely because that absolute no doubt smash of the run game for Detroit. It's a little bit in question for me today, which I didn't see myself saying, but
Yeah.
from the Packers side of things, I also look at how many pieces are out on the Detroit Lions, and I think that they might try to establish the run in a very, very serious way with Barnes out, with Reader out, with Anzalone. One of the like two of their three best run stoppers are going to be out there. Are on the IR. Anzalone, he's been incredible in that regard. I think the Packers can do whatever they want running the football here if they want to. Now, there might be game scripts again if the Lions are continuing to be efficient, which they've just constantly done week in, week out this season, with barely any exceptions besides maybe a first half against Houston. I think that the Packers are very live, which my first play, Josh Jacobs, I ended up getting him at 68.5. It's basically 70 plus if you want to attach it to something. I know a lot of people out there do, but I'm going to be laddering him up to 100. I'm not making the same mistake here. If I see it a certain way where I think that there's added upside, again,
Yeah.
you're going to know very early on in this game if I'm right or I am very, very wrong. I think Josh Jacobs is live for a massive, massive smash, though.
I like Josh Jacobs, and it's literally I think the Packers are just gonna have the ball so much in this game. Like, I think we're both gonna hit. Like, it's not
Yeah,
far-fetched to believe.
I'm kind of
Um,
with you. Yeah.
yeah, I like it. I'm, like, really close to taking Packers. I do hate that I missed the number, right? Like, I could have locked it in yesterday, but that's kind of how it goes sometimes, right? Like, you want that extra day to kind of just make sure you're, you're at least, like, in the right spot of the right mindset, there. But let me go to my
But
next
but
one.
here's the
Oh,
other
go ahead.
thing. I'm just gonna piggyback off of what you said there too. It's okay to not bet a spread because you're waiting for better information or you're trying
Yeah,
to make decisive decisions. You didn't lose anything. Yeah, it sucks. Sometimes it's like, oh, I missed the number. It's awful. There are going to be a lot of football games on Sunday where I think you can get some advantageous numbers. It's just these standalone games. It always makes you feel a little bit worse when you miss the boat on it, and then you're doing
yep,
content all day covering it. So I totally get it, but you are just fine, my friend. You're gonna be on the right side of it more than you're not.
yeah. Um, Let me go to the next one. Clemson SMU ACC championship. There's money coming on Clemson. I get it. Coaching experience of Dabo Sweeney. He's been there, done that. SMU hasn't played anybody. Rhett Lashley talking like a scared little girl if they miss this. SMU is going to absolutely smash Clemson. Clemson, mind you, is coming off that loss to South Carolina.
Mhm.
South Carolina with Kennard and the other booking, great defensive line. Clemson now plays against a almost as good defensive line, but a better passing attack and a better offense. We watched them struggle against Pitt, who I would call Pitt like 5 tiers below SMU in terms of passing. Yates or Yarnell, whatever his name is, backup quarterback for Pitt, threw the ball all over Clemson. This SMU with Kevin Jennings team is good, right? Like you say the team doesn't play anybody, but they literally beat every ACC foe that they played against. 12th in EPA margin versus 22 in EPA margin, right? You want to kind of talk about that. Then let's go ahead and talk about the weakness. The weakness of SMU is the run game. But I don't consider it a weakness, and I don't think they care that it's weakness because they have Kevin Jennings, who, if you watch Kevin Jennings play, he's playing with confidence after finally earning the starting job. They're scheming guys open, which is really nice, and he's being explosive. I think we're going to get a back and forth game. The weather's supposed to be really nice, but SMU is going to win this game. And the fact that the line is down to -2 and people are literally buying Clemson makes me realize that they haven't seen any game that Clemson played. Clemson didn't beat a team over 500 all season. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. Clemson's just not a good football team this year. SMU is the real deal.
Yeah, SMU, you saw Kevin Jennings get dinged up in that game against BYU, their one loss. If
Yep.
anybody was watching that one, he ended up leaving the game quickly. Preston Stone came in for a quick second and then ended up being Kevin Jennings coming back out there. I'm pretty familiar with all the Big 12 teams because, well, being
Yep.
an Iowa State guy, now we've got BYU, SMU, a lot of these random guys that are playing each other. SMU obviously in the ACC, but just with the conference realignment, this is the time of year where I really do hammer college football, and I try to, do what Brad's doing, try to jump in early on some numbers, follow Brad over in tails, and hopefully find myself on the right side of some numbers as well. I think BYU, that's a difficult loss, but at the same time, if you have Jennings dinged up, BYU at the beginning of the season, I mean, they had everything going their way. It was unbelievable. I don't take a lot of stock into that being their third game of the season. They've been
Yep.
lights out for 7 weeks, 8 weeks in a row. So SMU, I'm with you there. This number opened at -2 Clemson. How wild is that?
It's insane. I couldn't believe like people legitimately were like, let's run to the window. But also I want to say this. Like we have to talk about like sometimes why numbers move. Like people bought a lot of SMU. A lot of people are now buying Clemson who are on both sides to get a massive, massive number. Like that's totally fine. But for me, like I can't believe there's any buyback on Clemson. No, not a second you're gonna see me there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 100% behind that one, and I ended up steering clear of recommending Oregon at 3.5 here. Again, it's one of those things where 3 looked nifty for me. If you could get 3 and you're not paying out the ass in terms of vig, I'd be okay with it, I suppose. But uh, I'm just staying in the NFL streets today, hosting this one. I'm going under on Jaden Reed, and I want to give the pick'em people out there something because there is one massive outlier number, and I'm not sure if this is them trying to entice people to play a little bit more over there, which would be okay. You could use promo code Lindy while you're at it. But DraftKings Pick 6 has Jaden Reed at 65.5 receiving yards for what I would call no reason whatsoever. You look across the industry, and this is rare. There aren't a lot of times that a pick'em site is going to give you like that much better of a number than everybody else is. But Jaden Reed is currently 60, basically 59.5 to 62.5 every other place, including 61.5, with the 61.5 being an under -105, -125, pretty juiced towards that over at DraftKings Sportsbook. We're getting 65.5 here on pick 6 for no reason. And these are the advantageous kind of spots. The last 3 weeks, he hasn't exceeded 30 yards receiving in any. I don't care about that as much because I understand the reasons it's changed. Passing expectation goes up. You talked about it with Jordan Love. where you got a dome game. We got a 51.5 total. But Jaden Reed doesn't see the field more than 65% of times ever. He's extremely involved when he's out there, but I think there's an absolute floor to Jaden Reed on a week in, week out basis because it was just achieved 3 weeks in a row. And again, I understand the reasons that this is much, much higher. Maybe we see them flip the switch for a massive divisional game, but Jaden Reed's not the guy that you want out there in run blocking situations. He is utilized as that. I mean, it's weird to call him a scat wide receiver, like a slot wide receiver, but that's kind of what his role is for the Packers. And I think 65.5, getting less over there, it's a smash. It's a really good number. And I think most people are playing all overs over there. At pick six, you get an opportunity to get an increased payout if, over like 30-40% of the field doesn't end up hitting on the number. If, they're going to pay out up to a certain threshold, you could get 4 or 5x by shorting a bunch of players in this game, going for that massive 20x payout on a 6-pick flex. But Jaden Reed, my favorite, if you're going to play one guy over there.
Yeah, I hope they're wrong because I need Reed to go absolutely nuclear for fantasy. Oh wait, no, I have a bye week this week. Wow, actually,
okay. I'll give you 2 touchdowns. Jaden Reed,
2 touchdowns, 30 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Look who it is. It is our good friend, Eytan Shander. How you doing, my dude?
It's a Bo Melton kind of night.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's a Bo
it's a Tim Patrick kind of night if you want to fire up anything.
No, I'm not at plus 450. Tim Patrick. I mean, I don't hate
70% it. 70% of snaps last week.
When I see Bo Melton sitting at 7-1 for an anytime touchdown, knowing that Christian Watson has basically been relegated to a 5th option. You talked about Jaden Reed. I'll use your own logic against you for Jaden. Who's it gonna be? Tucker Kraft? It ain't going to be him, right? Give me watch. You just watch. When Bo Melton scores the first touchdown tonight, Eric Lindquist, what are you going to do?
Probably drink.
Sinai?
I knew Jameson Williams. We'll get there.
What's up, y'all? Sorry about this.
What's up, man?
It's been a freaking disaster. I am curious where you guys stand on this play if I were to throw it out here to you. If you can get it north of 51, do you have any interest in the under tonight? There are some pretty public trends that are leaning towards the over. Everybody thinks this is going to be some massive shootout. No Alexander on Green Bay, and 3 guys are missing in the Detroit pass rush. It's not even a short week for the Lions, right? As far as for these teams off Thanksgiving, but there's something about Thursday night football where I feel like you're just better off taking the under on north of a key number.
Look, this young Packers team, I mean, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan. The biggest NFL play I had all of last year was them going into Dallas on the road in the playoffs. And I basically just went on every video and said they were going to smash their faces in. Now, Jair Alexander is a massive piece. Nobody is going to deny him being out is probably an issue, but for me, I think the main thing is kind of the push and pull effect. If we think Josh Jacobs is successful, which I very much do, I think there's a world where Green Bay has the football the entire day today. And if that's going to be the case, they're trying to lower the variance of this game. They obviously didn't lower the variance of that Dallas game that I'm talking about specifically. That thing went completely nuclear. Second half, Cowboys found ways to put up points and be successful. CeeDee Lamb smashing. But I've always been impressed by LaFleur. I've always been impressed by his ability to get the best out of the skill set of his players. And he's so situationally sound as a coach. It's frustrating because I don't want him to be, and I'm happy we have Kevin O'Connell for sure. But I think Matt LaFleur is one of the best young coaches in the NFL. And if you're going to tell me that it's him versus Dan Campbell in situational football, I'm going to take him a lot of the time over Dan Campbell, if we're being honest.
Wow. I can't.
Sorry, Dan Campbell. You're a lovely person, but
Look,
Ra only goes so far. Your
Campbell
second half
rich
coaching
man
against San
Sirianni.
Francisco still deserves you're dead to me. Basically, I don't trust the Lions come playoff time.
That's fair. I feel like they're an Eagles team of the past, but that's a different conversation here. Okay, just curious.
You have Sirianni, which I guess is worse than the
Far
two
off.
aforementioned individuals.
No. I mean, I'd much rather have Dan Campbell. But here's the thing. Like, I think if anything, Nick Sirianni is shattering this old school image that a head coach has to do everything. And if is not, is like the true Belichick, right? Like hands over everything and in full. Nick Sirianni, like you replace Nick, if you just removed, forget replace, if you just removed Nick Sirianni from the equation, Kellen Moore has his room each week. Vic Fangio has his room every week. Mike Clay, the special teams coach, who's a hell of a golfer, mind you, has his room every week. Come on, man. You got that offensive line, Saquon Barkley and Vic Fangio. You should be double-digit wins every season. Nobody's going to mess that up unless they're over there meddling. And that's what that bozo was doing for the first couple of weeks of the season. He had his hands, try to get his hands in shit. And people were like, yo, you got to chill. You got to chill. That's cool. You got to chill.
Let's talk a little Gold Boys quick before we get to our last plays here as well. I'm going to continue hosting here as we get ourselves the heck up out of here. Very much looking
I didn't know
forward.
you had one more row.
Oh, we got
I'm
one
sorry.
more row here for the people. We got
Well, I have something
we got to put Brad on with some blue hair. Brad on with blue hair. Hit it straight.
I might dye it back.
The Gold Boys are one of the largest, most well-known sports betting discords around the world. We'll show you how easy it is to get a free month at goldboys.com and sign up at BetMGM just for using code GoldBoys. Sign up at BetMGM, use code GoldBoys, deposit at least $10 and get your first bet back up to $1,500. Once you play through, you'll get an email from BetMGM with your code to use for that free month at goldboys.com. Some exclusions may apply. 21 or older, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Again, sign up at BetMGM using code GoldBoys, deposit at least $10. Your first bet's back up to $1,500. You'll get an email from MGM. Use that code for your first free month at goldboys.com.
Oh, we are so back. It is time,
back.
friends, to get to the last row. And you know what? I'm going to kick it off with Eytan because I know Eytan has a lot that he wants to say. And, well, we'll budget our time accordingly after that.
There is plenty for me to say here. I did mention as far as the game itself, I really don't have a ton on this tonight. And much like Brad, I think I'm a little more invested in Jaden Reed than you are, which is totally fine. Totally fine. It's been a little bit of an up and down, I think, in the NBA. I think right now, maybe I'll go to college because I come off that massive victory over our own Ben Raza, where it was a brawl to see who was the true college capper. And because I picked Alabama and he went with North Carolina.
Yeah.
Roll Tide. Exactly. Right. Exactly. I figured you'd like that one. Right. Give me Nicholls State on the money line. Lay 150 if you'd like. I think anywhere from that against Southeast Louisiana. Nice little tip that I get. I'm tailing it. I pass that on to you. And you know what? It's a great parlay piece. So if you wanted to run like under 59.5 and Nicholls State, go ahead and do that. Serve it.
We got our guy straight. He just added the shanderbets column, but like McNichols, I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, all right, McNichols.
Hey man, I've hit I've hit 4 straight college hoops tickets, including a live Ohio State play last night, Villanova outright the other night at plus 170. You don't tempt me. All right. Don't tempt me to lay some points here with Nicholls. I was just giving you the money line.
I love you so much. Brad, final play of the day. Fire it up.
Yeah, the best thing about working in the sports industry and doing a bunch of shows is sometimes you work with some really smart people and they turn you on to some plays. During our college football show on NBC Sports, Mr. Eric Froton turned me on this play, and when I heard the price, I almost threw up in my mouth. It's Mr. Bryson Daly, 2+ rushing touchdowns, plus 200. Bryson Daly has hit this number in every single game except one. He has hit this in 10 straight games. How can you not take Mr. Bryson Daly playing against Tulane in a game where they'll be playing at home? I talked about this on the show, which is pretty just want to tell you my love for the running game of Army in this game. Normally, when you're playing on an American conference schedule, right? Like you get up to a Tulane on your schedule, and you're like, shit, this front seven is big, beefy. Compared to the other American teams, then you have a little bit of that fear, right? Bryson Daly literally just played against Notre Dame and UTSA, two of the strongest front sevens in America. Did he hit this number? Absolutely. You think he's afraid of Tulane after just, I don't want to say feasting, because he didn't feast against Notre Dame, but he played pretty doggone well. I'm taking this number plus 200. I put a full unit on it.
Yeah, I'm going to tail that. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm looking through it here now. I have a couple of college football indexes that I'm looking through, and they've got him for 2.4 in a 45 and a half total game, which
Yeah,
that's
he's going to
crazy.
score, man. Like, you're guaranteed a
2.4. What?
touchdown, and it would take
Oh,
Barry to keep him
well,
out.
so one of them, they're giving him like 0.6 in terms of a passing touchdown. How many passing touchdowns does he even
8.
have on the year? 8.
He has 8.
So yeah, so they have something that's like slid over where okay, so but that's 1.8 touchdowns that he's expected to run for, and it's plus 200. Let's
Exactly.
just do the math on that quick. Again, mean and median, we could have that conversation all day, but like, yeah, this is a phenomenal find. Shout out that. Shout out respective Eric. Is it spelled ERIC? Is your buddy Eric spelled the same as
Yes,
me?
Eric Froton.
Oh my God. Erics just tend to be the best. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know what
are.
else to
I
tell
like
you.
doing shows with Erics.
See, that's so lovely. And I love Jamison Williams too. Jamison Williams, take it to the moon, plus 220. I've got this inside of the plus 200 number. It's my favorite play from tonight. No Jair Alexander, which matters more for Jamison Williams than anybody else on the field because he'll get Carrington Valentine, who I remember from college football DFS because he was this highly touted corner at Kentucky once upon a time. And you know what he did? He got his draft stock annihilated that final year. He still gets drafted in the 7th round out of Kentucky, but he's had 2 abysmal years. In fact, he only played 9 snaps week 1. He played 12 snaps week 8 here for Green Bay. They don't want him on the field. And you know what? He had to play 35 snaps last week. That's going to be the main matchup that my boy Jamison Williams gets. There is no doubt in my mind there is one opportunity. The thing that keeps me away from betting Green Bay is how much I like this play and the fact that I'm invested in Jamison Williams doing just about everything. So the same way you guys are cheering for Jaden Reed to find a way, I mean, I think Jamison Williams is just locked in. He's playing 80% of snaps the last 2 weeks, looks really, really good. Went out on the field and not doing stupid stuff like, not letting people know about medication that he's taking or gambling or things like that. But Jamison Williams is my dude. I love him so much. It's fun to see him out there healthy, playing a bunch of snaps, and plus 220 in this situation where you got to get the ball out of your hands and take a couple of deep shots at that left side of that line is not as short up. So I like it. I'm glad. Eytan, we're firing that up, are we not?
Yeah, and I'm looking at Jaden Reed 3 TDs at 100 to 1, so we're in good shape.
Didn't he have
Bo
like a 2 touchdown?
freaking Melton, all right? Not the Anthony.
All right, put Bo Melton on the card for Eytan. Put the under 51.5 too. I don't know how we get all these touchdowns and we still get this under, but here we are. That's about looking at every ticket online sometimes.
Come on, man. You could have 4 guys score tonight and still comfortably clear that under. And maybe that's one guy scoring 4 times, and that's Jaden Reed.
Oh my gosh. Lord BLT, my guy, Brad Thomas. Go follow him at Mr. Brad Thomas over on X. Any final words for the people as we get out of here?
Yeah, it's live. The college football show, Bet the Edge. Go to Spotify, Apple Play, or YouTube. Pretty much, you can even get on Amazon Music. Listen, we covered every game, even the ones, the Ohio versus Miami of Ohio. So make sure you tune in and you listen to that.
Bryson Daly I'm so excited to watch Army play Tulane now. Again, my hungover Saturday endeavor will be lovely. What?
Army to win this game? Absolutely.
Yes.
Sign me up for that.
I think
Penn State to beat Oregon. Sign me up for that.
No. Bad you.
Oh, no. That's definitely going down. There's some.
I like being married. If I had to show a betting ticket that had plus 3.5 on PSU, I'd be kicked out of my own house.
Why?
So
Your wife
married
went to
into an
Oregon?
Oregon family. Yeah.
All
What are
right,
we
well,
doing
then
here?
you're great. So you'd rather lose money and keep a good household than win a lot of money and deal with an argument. I see where your priorities are on a gambling show. You
Yeah,
admit.
they're in the right order. Check it out, everybody. Hit the like button. Follow me at Eric
Shame
Lindquist.
on you.
Thank you, gentlemen. And straight behind the glass. Phenomenal job as
The
always.
glass.
Let's get ourselves the heck up out of here.